Hi, Joe Gypsy here. I'm getting ready to roll. So we're putting things away. Putting on real shoes instead of slippers. Battening down the hatches, which doesn't amount to very much work. Everything's pretty much always put away. Don't put out a lot of stuff. Time to go. See you down the road. We're gonna roll. Oh, I know you don't like it, but we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. You should go to bed. We're gonna roll. She does this every time I tell her that, and eventually she either moves, I move her, and then she goes and burrows up on the bed. It's time to batten down the final things, which includes my flag, and that flag made it through 2 winters. It's starting to get a little bit tattered, and that's one of the few things I actually put out, and you can see how it's pretty easy to get it back down. Because the stick on my flag is so long, there's really only one place I can put it when I go to pack it away. But that first includes rolling the whole thing up, right? And then putting the bungee balls back on to hold it in place, and then it has to go inside the door. Well, next I have to pick up my rug, but you do that carefully when you're in the desert because you don't want any surprise packages underneath like scorpions. Next inside is the outdoor water holder for warm hand washing outside, and also what sits in front of my license plate as a rule. And then the final thing is, in goes that big old long flagpole. And now, almost ready to roll. Kitty in. Step up. Everything's put away. You should always do a walkabout. Make sure you didn't leave anything behind. I still have to get the levelers out from underneath the tires, and they have a splice. Tire looks good. Nothing's propped open. Tire looks good. Good, good, good. Nothing dripping underneath. That's a good thing too. Another good looking tire. Almost there. Another leveler. And otherwise everything looks good. One last thing. Get out and get those levelers, and if you look closely you can see I pulled forward off of them, so they're a little easier to get to than underneath the truck. Never just reach down and pick them up, especially when you've been in the desert. You want to do a flip over on them, send everything that's hiding underneath, bugs, spiders, or possible scorpions, and send a packet before you reach down and pick that booger up, okay? Really important. Levelers have a good place to go inside this little cupboard here, along with some other goodies. A few more leveling blocks as well. Oh yeah, inside, oh, water hose and some tools. But they fit in there pretty darn well. No sense in taking spare bugs along with you. That's it. I can barely see the Weaver Mountains. I mean, I can. It's a faint outline, but the smoke is really bad, the haze. And I'll be driving up to the top of that here very soon. I'll share the ride. Well, darn. The dump's not open today. I messed up. I'm leaving on a Monday, and it's closed today. So I guess I'll be lugging this garbage around until maybe I can get to my own dump, right? This is the angle dangle of the day for my phone shots and rambling road trip to home. Until at least I get a better phone holder. We'll see what happens in the future. Here we go. Heading on Arizona 89, one of the many 89s. Towards the beautiful Weaver Mountains. Just about ready for the ascent up the Yarnell Hill. It's about, I'm going to see it's about 2,000 feet to the top here. It's a very popular motorcycle road because, well, you'll see why, I think, in just a moment. See how hazy it is down in the valley, maybe. It was in the 20s, maybe, when the Yarnell Hill Road was widened to more than about 1.5 lanes wide. Now it's 2 different lanes. We're on the uphill, which is actually got 2 lanes most of the way. There'll be a few places you'll be able to see uphill from us here on the right, where it is mostly a single lane road. I'll take you on that ride one of these days. On that hillside in front of us, you can see the 2 layers of road. State Route 95 is a north-south, State Route 89, not 95. State Route 85 is a north-south route throughout the entire state and beyond. And it used to be the main transportation hub going, say, from Phoenix up towards Flagstaff. I believe it was in the 1970s when Interstate 17 was built northward from Phoenix up to Flag, and that pretty much, of course, like all interstates, wiped out all the little towns that were along the historic back roads, 2-lane roads. Blue highways. It's hard to look in the valley at that crazy smoky haze that I just came out of, because now it almost looks clear-ish above those beautiful Weaver Mountains, when in reality I know it's not. Oh yes, coming up will be a turnaround so that you can go to the Granite Mt Hotshots trail that was built after the 2012-13 Yarnell Fire. I gave you links below on that, because I had lived there, and although I didn't lose my home because I was already gone when the fire occurred and was already up at the working as a ranger at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, but 100 homes were burned, including many friends that lived there. But the worst of the Yarnell Fire was the loss of 19 firefighters. A situation that just shouldn't happen. Driving below the scenic overlook on the 2 lanes going downhill right now, and you might even be able to see up high here on the left the old overlook, which I used to go to and look down for sunsets. We've pretty much left the lower Sonoran Desert. There's a fine line between the bottom of the hill and the top of the hill. Where we're headed is called the High Chaparral. It's still desert-like, but there really aren't any saguaros here anymore. You might find a few prickly pear cactuses. Here's the turn off to the left, so you can go partway downhill and park for that trail. I'll put a link about the trail. know, even though as a RVer, I always say home is where you park it, and I call that my wheel estate. There's always those few places that keep calling you back, or a place that you've stayed at for any length of time, and part of it's the place, and hopefully part of it's the people too. Yarnell is actually one of those places. I started partially wintering in Yarnell back in 2005. I was able to park my RV home on private property there. Parked there for many years, actually. Winters. I worked summers. Love the boulders up here. These are granitic plutons. They're wonderful. They kind of like the boulders in Joshua Tree. Same geology, different place. And here we come into the town of Yarnell. Population here, I think, is under 1,000. I'd have to double check the census. We have a new brewery here on the right. I've been to the Ranch House restaurant, is also very famous, but closed on Mondays. The bikers that love that curvy hill, they come up and have breakfast there and then ride that curvy hill back down. And Yarnell really has been a sleepy retirement community, but after the fire, well, somebody came in and opened up the Dollar General. I guess that was okay because in the past years that I've lived here, the grocery store closed, the gas station closed, the school closed, the clinic closed. I'm sure there's a few other things too. A couple of restaurants still open, and bar. And you know, when this was a main thoroughfare, I understand there were more gas stations and bars than there were churches. That's surprising. It's a funky little place. There's a lot of secondhand stores here. I call them more like junk stores, thrift stores, and they're usually not all open. I don't know how anybody can survive on those businesses in a town like this. And that was it. We just did Yarnell, and we're headed up the road now to Peeples Valley will be next. Dead skunk. We're looking to see what the fuel price is here at Peeples Valley. Sometimes it's a better price than some of the big towns. Valley probably has a bigger overall population than Yarnell does, but the landscape is huge. Pizza place, T-Bird Cafe, is really good. And the Milshoe here in town is an excellent veterinarian service. So I think I have enough time to actually get to the post office before they close for lunch. I'm shooting for that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to hang out for a while or come back out, and I don't feel like doing that. horse country. Oh, and cattle country too. Keep praying for the best here, and asking people when they're down here, especially in the Southwest, where it's so dry. No fires, no campfires, no trash burning. Be careful when you're hooking up anything you're towing with chains that they don't drag or touch the road. The sparks start fires. When you pull off the road, pull off on pavement. Please don't park your hot car on the dry grasses. It's another way to start a little tiny fire. You drive away, don't even know it. My favorite curve. This landscape feels like home to me as much as the desert I just came from. And it's because I've lived in it before, gotten to spend enough time with this place. Getting to know the environment as I always like to do. And I'll share some videos about the landscape and life, plants and animals here in the future. Home is kind of a state of mind. It can be the place that you decorate and lay your head down upon the pillow. And that can be under the stars, in a tent, an RV, or enclosed in a stick-and-brick built home. I think the sense of home is something you take with you. So it's more of an internal thing than the actual physical place where you do rest your head for the night. I feel that sense of home just about every place I go. When I say home is something you bring with you, I believe it's something that comes from the heart. Home is also equated with being comfortable. And to me, just being comfortable in your own skin is like being home. Soon to be coming up to the next turn. If we didn't turn off to the left here on Kirkland Road, we'd be continuing up Arizona 89 and over the Bradshaw Mountains that we can't even see in the distance right now. And if that road is even open, I don't usually like to drive it anyway. It's really slow and curvy. You maybe saw the sign that said not recommended for anything over 40 feet. And you could drive it, but I wouldn't want to. Kirkland Valley Road to Iron Springs Road's always been my preferred method, really, for getting to Prescott, 30 miles away. If you need Prescott, it's not quite as curvy and mountainous, although you're still going into the Bradshaw Mountains there. It's the alternate route for large, long vehicles. Getting my second shot out with this rambling road trip idea, a video. I just basically turned it on and left it on for the drive. It's going to be a long video, and it's going to require quite a bit of editing and cutting and additions of whatever. Now we're coming into Kirkland. I could call this another home. The winter of 2016-17. I lived in an RV park here in Kirkland on the edge of the railroad tracks. It was kind of weird, except I got some really awesome photographs, and I'll share a couple of those as well as leave a link below for you to read more. Rancho Vida is the name now, but it wasn't then. It's gone through new ownership, and boy, the rent went up really high. If you go straight ahead at past this stop sign, you could head to Bagdad, Arizona, mining town. Instead, we're going to make a right turn on Iron Springs Road. And over here on the right, well, you might just get to see a glimpse of the famous 1923 built Kirkland Cafe. Well, I think it might have been a bank or something else, and has burned several times from what I've read. Skull Valley, 7 miles. I'm happy to see patches of green on the cottonwoods here. They're along a dry wash. It does get a little water once in a while. Big contention going on. What's coming up ahead, those big silos and all this shit, that's part of a mining operation that is mining tufa from the hillsides off here to the right. Tufa is kind of like a volcanic rock. It's used in making concrete. I did a post on this place, I believe. I'll add a link down below. Over here on the left, you'll see what's called the Kissing Rock. It's more tufa. Beginning to feel a little anxious and excited the closer I get home. Welcome to Skull Valley. Gonna make a stop at the post office. It'll be like Christmas because I haven't seen my mail in, I think, January, maybe 4 months or so. Not like you get a lot of mail these days, but it'll be fun. There we go. Oh yeah, it's full. The take-home pile is really pretty small. I did throw away quite a few of the flyers, you know, those grocery store flyers. But really cool is that I have a package that came in. Coming up to the main crossroads here of Skull Valley. Sadly, the little restaurant on the right is closed, has been for a long time. But the general store and the gas station also haven't been open for a very long time. I think people meet for donuts in the morning at the store. Okay, well, that was it. We just did Skull Valley. I love little towns. Anyway, we are, I am on the last leg. I'm on the last leg of my journey home, this rambling road trip. And I'll be turning off of this road just up ahead, but I'm actually not going to share that portion of the drive, at least not yet. We'll see, maybe down the road. As we get through this little railroad underpass, I will be signing off until I actually get home, which won't be long now. I live in a gated community. With a very well weighted gate, if you push it hard enough.